histogram. Histogram, like you already would know, is one of the preliminary data analysis tools. And like I mentioned in the basic statistics session yesterday, whenever we talk about data analysis, we are essentially talking about three basic attributes of data. A, the central tendency of the data. B, the variability or the variation in the data. C, the shape of the data. So ideally, let me open the Minitab. I have picked up a data from a manufacturing unit. In the column C11, if you see, I have information on total breakage. So let's say this is your first time of looking at the data from this project. And this is where I would commence my usage of histogram. God. So I go to graph, I go to histogram. I choose the second option. Always advisable whenever you're making histogram, use the width fit model. This will give you the shape component of data analysis as well. So I choose the second option, width fit. I have chosen C11, double click, and now I will have the histogram for total breakage. What does a histogram do? What it has done for you is it has looked up the data that you gave it, C11. It has broken the data into small intervals referred to as bins. If I click any of these boxes, it tells you bin equals 7,9. All of you can see that information?
Yes.
It means data from 7 kilogram to 9 kilogram in this case is the bin that they've used or the interval that they've used. And how many data points do you have? Is 6, the bar value equal to 6. The bar represents the frequency of data in that particular bin. Let's click another one. It says bar value equals 14, comma, bin equals 9, comma 11. So the interval that it has taken for itself is 9 to 11, while the bar value is 14, which means there are 14 data points between 9 and 11. Is that simple, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
So what is a bin? Bin is nothing but the interval of data that it has used for analysis. Bar value is the frequency of data in that particular bin. Simple thought?
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at a histogram, I'm essentially looking at these three basic attributes of data: the central tendency of the data, variation in the data, and the shape in the data. Essentially, it helps you get a pictorial representation of the data. A lot of surveys across the United States passed on a message that 94% of all leaders want to see instead of read. So a lot of time, histogram is only used because it pictorially represents your data and for no other purposes. So when you are looking at pictorial representation of data, you may look at histogram as an option. Like we discussed, it ends up creating bins view, which is nothing but the range of the data, and the bar value, not the bin value, sorry. The bar value shows the frequency of data in that bin. Additionally, if you look at the histogram that we did right now, you can clearly see that you have you have a bar which is on the extreme left and a bar which is on the extreme right. it can kind of give me the spread overall from a data perspective. Yes, no? Yes. If you don't know about the data too much, I can look at this histogram. I'm marking the extremes as red. I can clearly see that the spread of the data. So bin is commencing at 7 and bin is ending at 19. So my overall spread of the data is between 7 to 19. Is that an acceptable thing to say? Yes, no, black, white. Do we understand what I just said, or we don't?
So could you please repeat?
So if I'm looking at, sure. Let me draw another histogram. And because you don't know this data, this is now the production that had happened in the factory. So if I look at the extreme left and the extreme right, that is the overall variation in the data. Fair? Is that a fair statement to make? The min will lie somewhere around the 200 and the max will lie somewhere around the 360. So if I were to look at these extreme bars, the bar on the extreme right and the bar on the extreme left, oh God, bar on the extreme right and the bar on the extreme left, I can look at understanding the overall variation in the data. Yes, no, black, white.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. I've written here, helps understand the spread of data. Check for the bar at extreme left for lowest values. Check for the bar at extreme right for the highest value.
That's true.
Another element, central tendency. Whenever you are looking at a histogram, the tallest bar would ideally mean that you have the highest frequency of data in that bin. Here, if you see, between 290, 310, we have 7 occurrences, or the frequency of data between 290 to 310 is 7. Similarly, I have another bar value of 7 between 230 and 250. So wherever you see the highest peaks, these necessarily represent the that higher number of data points are present whenever you see the taller buildings. Fair, everyone?
Yes.
These tallest bars will showcase necessarily that you have the maximum data presence in that bin. And mode is very likely to exist in one of these bars, the taller bars. Does it make sense? Do you understand? Do you not understand?
Yes. Because mode is the highest repeating numbers.
Correct.
Right.
And finally, the shape of the data. If the data does not fit between the blue curve that you see, the data is expected to be non-normally distributed. Let me go back. So you see this blue curve that they've drawn here. This is the normal distribution curve. If your data fits this blue curve, then your data is expected to be normally distributed, else it will be non-normally distributed. We together, everyone?
Yes.
Let's go back. We were saying data has 3 basic attributes of central tendency, variability, and shape. And histogram is one of the preliminary data analysis tools with capability of helping you understand all the three. Technically, what it is doing, it is breaking your data into bins, which is nothing but the range of the data, and then plotting the frequency of data in those bins. I can understand the overall variability in my data by looking at the extreme left and extreme right data values. I can look at the central tendency in the data because I understand taller the bar, higher the frequency of data in that bin, which means mode is extremely likely in those taller bar zones. And finally, for my data to be referred to as normally distributed, I will need it to fit the blue curve or the normal distribution curve that is evident there. If your data does not fit into this, it is extremely likely to be non-normal. Please give me your interpretation of the image that you see here.
Data is not normally distributed.
Yeah,
That is
because
why.
there are data points
Yeah.
outside the curve.
Right. And so there are, what? Can you go to that bin? So between 0.5 to 1.5, there are 12 data points. And 1.5 to 2.5, there are 9 data points. So
Etc.
mean, yeah.
Correct. And if I were to juxtapose a target here, let's say I am doing a histogram of production, and I know that my leadership wants me to ensure that my production does not go below 240. So if I were to draw a line at a 240 here, I will always color it differently. So bear with me for 2 minutes. So if this red line is the target line, I know that each time I have done less than a 240, it is a non-acceptable behavior or it is a defect. I can highlight that in my presentation that I'm making to my leadership or to the necessary recipient. Fair thought, everyone?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
No, sir. I am not able to understand that. ये 240 वाला जो red line का concept
प्रोडक्शन का
अभी
टारगेट है आपका 240.
ठीक है सर.
तो प्रोडक्शन ज्यादा होना चाहिए, कम होना चाहिए?
तो ज्यादा होना चाहिए 240 से
Okay,
ज्यादा है.
so every time I'm exceeding 240, it is a good behavior.
Yes,
Less
sir.
than 240 is not acceptable.
Right.
तो अगर मैंने इसका स्क्रीनशॉट ले लिया और वो जोन हाईलाइट कर दिया to say that everything on the left of 240 is the defect area, this is what needs to be improved, everything else is working. Fair thought?
राइट सर. मतलब 240 से आगे जो राइट हैंड साइड में है वो हमारा हाईएस्ट होगा और जो वो हमारा सबसे पहले है जैसे जो भी लेफ्ट में होता है दैट इज द
तो सारा
स्टार्टिंग
फेल है.
जी
सारा
सर.
फेल है. Fair.
ठीक है सर. डन. ठीक है.
Next tool that we are looking at is a tool referred to as Scatterplot. Scatter is one of the most frequently used tools whenever you want to evaluate or pictorially represent or both relationship between two variables, preferably continuous data, then you are using a histogram. So if you see on your screen, I have tried to identify or pictorially represent the relationship between the age of my car and the mileage of my car. When my car was a year old, it gave me a mileage of 20. When it reached 2 years, it gave me a mileage of 18. Third year, it is giving me a mileage of 16, etc., etc. So when I drew a scatter plot, you see a downward moving blue line. This is called the regression line. A downward moving regression line will mean negative correlation between variables. इसका मतलब if the age increases, mileage goes down. You have a negative correlation between variables. Fair thought, everyone?
Yes.
So
Right,
question.
sir.
Yeah.
So you have mentioned that it is preferably for continuous data. So it is not mandate, right? Because if I want to compare the tenure of a person with the number of defects, so number of defects is my discrete data, and the tenure is a continuous data.
Fair.
So if I want to establish a scatter plot there, so I can use it, right?
We will come to this question once I finish my scatter plot.
Okay, sure.
Fair question. We'll discuss it after 2 minutes. Now, if you see the second image, I have tried to compare temperature and the air conditioner sales in rupees. And the regression line that you see this time is moving upwards. An upward moving regression line in scatter plot means positive correlation. Positive meaning each time the temperature goes up, the sales of air conditioners also goes up.
So,
Fair
sir,
thought,
that
everyone?
mean, yeah,
Hmm.
so that mean that if the regression line is moving downward, that is not in the favorable part. But if it's moving
I may
upward,
not
the
want to
positive.
say that.
अच्छा,
It is simply telling you a relationship. उसका
okay,
हर process का interpretation may be different.
right. अच्छा, ठीक है, sir.
Sometimes a downward movement is what you prefer. Sometimes an upward movement. Look at age of your employee and the handling time.
हाँ,
Tenure
AHT
of your
करेंगे तो वो decrease होगा, तो then it's also right, sir. So
correct,
that doesn't mean that a regression line downward is just a generic as per the data. The scatter plot will change.
correct. And then you should use it to make your own inference. Third, let's say I go to graph, I go to scatter plot. I will always prefer to use the third option, which says with regression. Everyone?
Right, sir. Third option, regression line.
Correct. So I'm now trying to establish whether total breakage, which is in kilogram, is something to do with production, which is again in kilogram. So both continuous data. When I press OK, I see a upward moving blue line. However, the steepness of the blue line could have been this way also. It is the way it is right now. It could have been slightly less also. The steepness of the blue line will determine how strong is the relationship. Steepness of the blue line, the regression line, will also determine the strength of the relationship. If you see the black line here, and if you read the comment that I have, it says black line will represent strong positive correlation. Blue line will be represented as mild positive correlation, and red line will represent no correlation. Do we understand, guys?
Right, sir.
Here, if I were to change the color of this and say custom red.
Sir, but this scatter plot have only two things. One is the breakage, one is the production.
Yes, it is always between two variables only.
Right.
Now let's say these were the three regression lines that have come about. The green line, which is like almost parallel to your x-axis, will essentially represent no relationship at all. The red line, which is steeper than the blue line, will mean positive correlation, which has, or I can say that it is strong positive. The blue line, which is currently being shown, it will mean low positive correlation or mild positive correlation. Simple thought, everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
If I click this, it also gives you a mathematical formula with a R-square value. Once we get deeper into the subject, you would understand the term R-square. R-square essentially is the percentage impact of the variable on the subject of interest. Whatever you put on the y-axis, here I have the total breakage on the y-axis. So when we want to determine how much is the impact of production on total breakage, it can be interpreted using the R-square value. R-square here is a 9.9, which is very, very low. The best R-square possible is 100. Here in your case, R-square is 9.9, which is extremely low. Industry benchmark of a good R-square is considered to be 62%. But don't worry about R-squares, etc. right now. We will look at it when we delve into the analyze phase of Six Sigma. Any questions, anyone so far?
No, sir.
Let's go back to the start. Why do we use a scatter plot? When we want to identify or pictorially represent cause and effect relationship between two variables, I'm using the scatter plot. I've also used a term continuous data. I will explain what continuous and discrete data is all about, and then we will talk further. If you are drawing a scatter plot in which you got a downward moving regression line, downward moving regression line will mean negative correlation. Upward moving regression line will mean positive correlation. And additionally, the steepness of the line will also be an important thing to look at. The red line that you see here means no relationship. The black line that you see means high positive correlation. Blue could be termed as mild positive correlation. Simple, everyone?
Right, sir.
Archana, we're good. Raj, Ayush, Anthony, Nabila?
Yes, sir.
I have a question here, Pranay.
Please.
Just to get more clarity, this particular representation where we have presented the strong positive and the mild positive. So while presenting such a data to the leadership, how would be the best way to interpret this if the example is this only, total breakage versus the production?
You will not have three regression lines. You will have only one. So let's say I am doing a diagram here. You will only get one. Now, if I click on this line, it tells me R square is equal to 9.9. Correct?
Yeah.
It simply means that there is 10% impact of production on total breakage. 9.9% is the impact of production on breakage. Industry considers 62 as the optimum performance. So you will represent this to your management saying R square is extremely low, and hence we can conclude that this factor, production, does not impact my total breakage too much.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah.
The third, and perhaps one of the most frequently used tool is a Pareto, founded by a gentleman named Vilfredo. Vilfredo Pareto was a Vilfredo Pareto was an Italian. He was studying the economy of Italy, and he concluded that 20% of people of Italy own 80% of wealth of Italy. That is what laid the foundation of the basic principle of 80-20. But do not look at 80-20 as a perfect maths number. It is essentially pointing at the thought that few reasons will almost always contribute to most problems. So your pursuit has to be about identifying the vital few from the trivial many. Look at the example that I have on my system. I was trying to help a shoemaking firm to improve their quality. When I looked at their data, I found that because of poor printing, 59 issues were identified, which as a percentage was 16%. For all the defects that were captured, 16% of total defects came only due to poor printing. The second thread, loose thread tension, count is 47. Percentage wise, it is 13. So cumulatively, between poor printing and loose thread, I have 29% of errors coming because of the first two causes. Simple thought, everyone.
So
Yes.
could you help me with the cumulative frequency, like data? We have a data, and how
Cumulative
to?
is very simple. So the contribution of the first is 16, the second is 13. Put together, 16 plus 13 is 29.
Okay.
Nothing else. So first is 16, second one is 13, third one is 10. So cumulatively, 16 plus 13 plus 10 will be about 39. Nothing else. Simple thought. Cumulative is addition, nothing else.
But so it's written cumulative frequency of third number is 40.
It would be some decimals that would have been accounted for.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Let's look at another example. When Corona hit us during one of the sessions, the students present in that session on that particular day picked up data from one of the news portals of how many events, how many Corona cases have been reported in specific states. We saw that out of the total Corona cases that were identified, 34% of all cases came only from Maharashtra. The second state, Tamil Nadu, contributed to 14%. Third state, Delhi, contributed to 12%. Fourth is Gujarat, contributing to 7%. Fifth was Uttar Pradesh, contributing to 4%, which essentially means that between the top five, they contribute to roughly around 71% of all cases identified. Yes, no, everyone?
Yes.
Why do you want to know this? If you are government of India, if you are the health ministry, why do you want to know this information?
To prioritize that where we should take action first.
Absolutely. So as a country, we had lesser number of ventilators. So I only have 5,000 ventilators available with. Where should I strategically send them to? If I understand that 34% of all my cases are happening only in Maharashtra, shouldn't allocation also follow the same pattern? Let's say a smaller state, when I say smaller, I say smaller contributor. Let's say a Meghalaya only has one case of COVID. But if we were to democratically send the number of ventilators equally amongst all states, for one patient in Meghalaya, you possibly would have the same number of ventilators which were sent across to Mumbai, to Maharashtra, where there would have been a lot of problems already. Prioritization could help you focus on your top problems. That is what Pareto is used for. You are trying to identify what are the top contributors, who are your top contributors, so that you can attack a larger volume. Fair thought, everyone, so far?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Pareto essentially helps you prioritize, or like I always say, or pictorially represent. A lot of time, let's say, if you had data for these 5, 7, 10 states, maybe visually it could you could have been able to read this, even if the data was present on an Excel sheet. But like we were saying, pictures speak louder than words. So instead of having bare numbers, I drew a Pareto in which I have been pictorially able to represent which are the top contributing states, and the message is passed on very, very easily. That could be one of the thoughts of why Paretos are used. Clear, everyone?
Sir, just need to check one thing, that why do we need a cumulative frequency in this, in Pareto?
Let me ask you the same question differently. So
Yes.
assume that you don't have cumulative frequency here. Tell me, what is the contribution of the top 5 states? What is the contribution of the top 5 states, please? If you have cumulative frequency, you can add, they have added it up for you, and they are saying that it is 71%.
Okay.
That's the whole purpose. Cumulative frequency is, it says that if you were to attend to the top 5 states, you are actually ending up handling 71% of all issues of Corona. That could help you focus your energy, etc., in these states. So prioritization will help you. So let's say we work for Airtel and we are bleeding with a lot of customer exodus. So we've collected data on why are the customers leaving us. I have the reason and I have the number of users or churn numbers. Churn numbers. So I am saying that because of network issues, 1,300 customers have quit. Because of billing related issues, 2,000 customers have quit. Because of poor customer service, I've had 300 customers leave us. Value adding services has caused 400 customers to leave us. Because quoting competition, about 1,000 people have quit us. Quoting X, 120 customers, and quoting Z, 300 customers have. You can see this with your naked eye that network, billing, and competition are contributing. But if I were to draw a Pareto, it would be able to pictorially pass on the same message with a little more clarity. So I can see that between billing, networking, and competition, I have 79.3% issues. So if I were to handle these 3 contributors, I will end up handling 79% of all issues that have come up. We together.
Okay.
So
now,
you got to prioritize. So if we were doing this project together, I would want us to focus on the top 3 or top 2 or top 4. These 4 are essentially helping us fix. If I'm looking at 4, it is helping us fix a cumulative of 86.7%.
Right. 86.7% हमारा defects जो है से हो जाएगा.
Correct.
Correct. ठीक है sir, got it. Loud and clear.
Clear, everyone?
Yes.
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 One of the most important tools available to mankind and a very important constituent of the 7QC tools is the fishbone. Fishbone, also referred to as the cause and effect or the Ishikawa diagram, is all about identifying the root causes of the problem or pictorially represent the root causes of the problem. It can be done either ways. I can identify the root causes in a silo or using a different method, but I can use a fishbone to pictorially represent it, or I can use a fishbone structure to brainstorm and showcase both. You guys with me, everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
And a fishbone is perhaps one of the single most important tool available to mankind, like I said earlier. I remember my own days. We were spoken to by the world head of GE Healthcare at that time. In one of the in a leisure time, I walked up to that gentleman and I sought his advice. Possibly he was one of the bestest brains that the world has ever produced. I walked up to him. I sought his advice. On a 101. What is the single most important thing that a professional must do to grow well in his career? And immediately, Rath had to say that your ability to brainstorm will determine how well you grow in life. You will never know all the answers in life. So your ability to listen well, your ability to engage with other people around, your ability to gather ideas, because often in our lives, growth ka matlab, you will get to do something that you haven't done earlier. Correct? Let's say one of you is a assistant manager right now. You've never been assistant vice president. So when you grow and become assistant vice president, you've never been assistant vice president. So you don't know what to do. But your ability to brainstorm, gather ideas from others around you will always be your primary repertoire of doing well. And fishbone could come extremely handy when you are doing problem solving or essentially identifying the root causes to a problem. All improvement methodologies in the world focus at root causes for sustainable improvements in business processes. Fishbone can be done on Minitab as well. Because it was born in the manufacturing side of life, so it uses the six M's. You can change it if you want. Man, machine, material, method, measurement, mother nature or environment, whatever you want to write. Let's say we are looking at improving quality scores for our business. Tell me, what are the contributors to quality? Anyone? Vijay, can we start with you? Can you give me your rationale, your understanding of what are the contributors to poor quality?
So Pranay, basically I look after the voice profile. So there we have certain parameters like opening, where the advisor didn't open the call properly or didn't use the script properly. Then we have the probing parameter, After that, the
So
information.
my question to you, why did someone not do the opening of the call properly? What is the reason?
There might be a skill issue that whatever the script that we have given to him, he has not
Okay.
read it properly.
Okay.
There was
What
a
else?
headset. There was a headset issue that is a technical issue.
Okay.
Then we have the process error, like the call which landed on the IVR. There was an issue from the customer end due to which the recording was not recorded properly. That's it,
Etc. Fair thought.
etc.
Ankita, your thought?
So the product knowledge gap, because if the SOP is not being followed, so
Okay.
the
Product
advisor
knowledge
will not
gap.
be able. Yes, sir. Secondly, is the communication skill. If the advisor is lacking in that communication skill, so
Okay. Nabila, what's your thought?
Well, since we're talking about quality and it comprises of the voice process and the customer service parameters. So the normally which the gaps come up from is due to skills, probably lack of knowledge. There at times are issues that come up because of the softwares that are available in the environment for the agents. And apart from that, environmental factors like IT and today's time, because we are so much dependent on the internet is down and call quality drops, and ultimately the scorecard drops for the agent, but actually speaking, it is the environment issue. And so primarily these are the concerns that come up.
Sure. Anthony,
Yes.
what according to you could contribute to poor quality?
In terms of the same case, like in a call center, or
Any.
okay, it's maybe the methods or the machine, the equipments which is not like in a properly calibrated. And the worker skills, yeah, it's already there.
Yeah. Keratia, what's your thought?
Yeah, like incorrect processing, like someone did something wrong, and process
My
knowledge
question to
gap.
you is why? Why did you make that mistake?
Yeah, so that might be users is not attentive on their work.
What else? Raj,
And
anything else? Yes.
Well, sir, the almost everybody has covered everything, but there are two aspects as well. One thing that a proper floor support was not given while people were there on the floor. Second thing would be that during the training, they were not taught. They were not taught the real time topics or the real time defects which we were getting on the floor.
Correct.
So the training plan was not up to the mark. And the third thing we can add that we don't have a defined minimum skills requirement to recruit people. So at times if you don't have that, you get a mismatch of the candidate on the floor, then it
Correct.
creates a problem.
I'm old school. I will, whenever asked a question like this, I will go back to a basic definition. Can someone explain to me what is a process? How do you define a process? Process is nothing but set of activities,
Steps. Yeah.
okay, which consume input, uses resources, is supervised to produce an output. So if output is of poor quality, I understand only four things. either the set of activities that were done is not right, or the input hasn't been done right, or the resources available, resources required haven't been handled well, or the supervision is a problem. So for me, I will want to make a list of all inputs that are used in the calling process or any process if it is related to quality. I will want to see whether the inputs have been listed down, and if some input has been missing, wrong input has been used, inadequate amount has been used, we will get into trouble. So I will want to look at all these steps involved. That could be the reason why I did not follow the SOP. That could have been the reason. Maybe the SOP isn't updated with some unique situations. And hence, I did not know what to do. Maybe the inputs required in that calling process, that skill, that headset, the environment, the noise cancellation in the headset, maybe some of these issues. So once you've identified these issues, you can start to place them in these heads of man, meaning human issues. So let's not mention this as man, let's say human issues. Machine is the mechanical issues. So someone mentioned IT issues, and the material is the input issues. So I'm saying voice quality, the ambience is too noisy, method meaning process. All of this not attentive, careless. Machine, where are you? You guys with me, everyone? All I did was I've listed down these 6 heads here, and I go to stats, quality tools, cause and effect. Someone is trying to get into the group.
Sir, actually, my mic is not working. That was the reason.
Okay, sure. I click this blank space here and double click where I've written human, blank space, double click machine, double click material, double click method, double click measurement, double click environment. I'm using poor quality was my, I'm adding a heading, fishbone on poor quality. Minitab creates very shabby looking fishbones. Please use Excel sheets or presentation templates. You can use the AIG template that has been provided to you on the download folder segment. In your project template, you have a fishbone template as well. Use that instead of doing it on Minitab. Fishbones are very shabby looking. You can see that on your screen. I wouldn't want to present this to a leader. I'll get into trouble. You have no foundation to say these are the headings that you use. You can change these headings if you want. You can club 2 headings. It need not always be 6. You can do a 4, you can do a 5, whatever you want is absolutely acceptable because it started in the manufacturing side. That is why these headings are used. Feel free to modify or delete any of these headings if you want.
But the structure would remain the same, like these 5 or 4 headings, like measurements, material.
नहीं
This is
नहीं
what
तुम
we
change कर दो यार. If you want, you can
change
change it.
right, sir. Take it.
Maybe I will want to change one to say, I'm concerned about, let's say, I'm adding one more to say, no, don't add. I'm saying because of training issues, what are the challenges?
Could we also say like compliance issue, because there are a lot of steps which might not seem important from the process perspective, however are absolutely important from the compliance standpoint and usually gets missed.
Absolutely, why not? You can add as many heads as you want. You can change the name of these heads. Whatever you want to do is acceptable, is okay. People, we are good so far?
Yeah.
So just a question that we call this fishbone is due to the structure pictorial presentation. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Nothing else. But please understand, all improvement methods of the world have a central story that without root causes, you will not be able to fix anything. So your sincerity and your ability on doing fishbones will decide the success of any project that you pick up. So fishbones have to be done really, really well. So you got to be very careful with doing fishbones, your ability to brainstorm, your ability to get ideas from people. All of that will be a very important constituent of success.
So question.
Please.
So like, I was doing this activity in my current organization last week. So like, because I'm doing a project on productivity, there is a coach available with whom at times I go ahead and take some help. So is it mandate that whatever we are collecting in fishbone, that should be measurable, so
Not
that
necessarily.
Okay.
There's nothing in the world that can't be measured. So if you currently have identified something where you have not been able to identify the measurable metric, don't worry, collect the thought. We will do the measurable metric later.
Okay, because
at the
for
time
example,
of brainstorming, don't worry about data being available, not being available, being measurable, not being measurable. Don't think that way.
All right, sure, sir.
Very, very critical to build competence on root cause analysis, your ability to brainstorm. So start practicing today. When you get time, go back to your own organizations and do a fishbone of why quality scores are poor. It will help you. Developing that competence on being able to get others to participate and share their ideas is about building that culture. It is also about building that competence. It is about building that patience to be able to listen to others. And it is a pure piece of art and necessary constituent of your growth. How well you do in life depends on your ability to brainstorm. Must do. In the shared drive that I've shared with you, I've shared a lot of fishbones that have come about from different people. Please use those fishbones and add your ideas on them. Brainstorming is a very important skill that you must have. Build competence on that. Read. Look at the various methods being deployed to do brainstorming. It will be extremely useful. We are okay with fishbone, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Good to know.
How many of you have done Microsoft Visio earlier?
I've done that.
I've done it.
I've done that.
Okay. विजय विजियो कभी इस्तेमाल किया है, प्रोसेस मैप बनाया है कभी?
No, not yet.
Okay. निशिकांत, संजीव, oh संजीव तो संजीव है. Nabila, have you
No, not
used
yet.
any tool? Okay. Okay. I will advise all of you to, if you don't have the paid version of Visio, you can go on the internet and look for a tool called draw.io. This is a free tool available for making flowcharts. Good tool. You will have all kinds of options here. A typical. This is a good tool to use, draw.io, in case you don't have a flowcharting tool available with you. Okay, we'll get to that. So we've covered the histogram, we've covered the scatter, we've covered Pareto, we've covered flowchart, we've covered Fishbone. We will not cover control chart because we have an extensive session on the control phase of Six Sigma, which will also include the control charts. So I'm not covering it as part of your 7QC tools. For people who've not done flowcharts earlier, maybe I can organize a 30-minute session to help you go through flowcharting tools and help you with some flowcharting options. So we are now headed to Checksheet. One of the possibly one of the simplest and one of the oldest methods of process control. Check sheets help you in two ways. A, that it can be used as a data capture tool, or could be used for visual controls. If I look at the AIG book, give me a second. Ishikawa had mentioned all of you have downloaded your Six Sigma Black Belt book or your Green Belt books from the portal.
Yes.
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 Please ensure that you keep it very handy.
Yes.
Sir, is it possible to get a printed book? Because I'm not that much keen of reading PDF document. I'm
I can have someone do the get it printed. That should not be too big a deal. But
if you want, I can walk down and collect this book from there.
उतने टाइम में तो प्रिंट करवा लेगा यार. Okay, I'll check and come back to you. Sure. Ishikawa, the gentleman who propounded the thought of the fishbone, had identified 5 usages of a check sheet. He said, you could look at data capturing and finally getting to a situation where you are able to look at the shape of your probability distribution. You could use that as a data capture tool to identify defects by type, by location, by cause. So various stratas of defect capture can be facilitated using a check sheet. You guys with me?
Yes.
Yes.
if you are doing internal audits, if you're looking at external audits, when you are doing dispatch checks, you are essentially, you already have a pre-populated list of things that that are supposed to be done. You are essentially checking whether that has happened or not happened. Outcome could be that you could end up having defect by type or defect by location or anything of that sort. Check sheets are available in all forms and fashions in the industry today. Some people go to the extent of saying check sheets could be used in the form of a checklist instead of a check sheet, wherein you have made a list of all your to-dos and you are essentially saying, these are the things that I'm supposed to do. I am verifying whether these things have been done or not. So either it can be used as a visual control or it could be used as a data capture tool. We together, everyone?
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
sir.
You will see it everywhere, right in the hands of your quality professionals who are looking at doing audits using check sheets, quality check sheets. You can see it when people are trying to gather attendance and things like that. So if you look at your washrooms, the admin team, the facilities team has been able to create a roster of when cleaning has to be done, and each time it is done, it is marked by the person who's done it. And once it has been done, a supervisor will look at it and make a cross signature to say, yes, verified. I've physically verified it, and I find that the cleaning has been done. So check sheet is essentially a data capture, data gathering tool. And the summary could be that you could end up getting a lot of information from the check sheet thus created. A simple tool, almost used everywhere. But these are the 5 usages as mentioned by Ishikawa. I find them slightly out of place, but the God said it, so I'm not contending it too much.
Sir, Ishikawa is the same, the fishbone, the
Correct.
guy.
Yes. He's the man behind several quality tools, several iconic principles of problem solving. The God if God came on this earth, he possibly were to be called as Ishikawa. Such
Sir,
an intelligent gentleman. Yes.
I'm not able to understand the first part of it. Rest, I can correlate, but the first thing which he has mentioned, to check the shape of the probability distribution of a process. What does it mean?
Let me open an Excel sheet and try and do this here. So let's say these are hours between 10 to 11. Oh yeah. Etc. Okay. So I don't know whether this will happen or not. Here I am measuring the quantity, the number of boxes dispatched. It will end up start looking like histogram. So from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, how many dispatches happened? Let's say only one. From 11 to 12, let's say there was a 5 From 12 to 13, it was 7. Let's say 13 to 14, it was again same. This. Now it started to look like a histogram to you?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, now got the point.
Questions so far, anyone?
Not yet.
Have you guys ever used or you've not used the Fishbone at all? Okay. Let me take a step back. Say Control N. Oh God, what did I do? How do I open a new one file? New flowchart. I'll have someone do a flowchart. Untitled. Yeah, so how do I open a blank one? Blank. Yeah. Tell me, what do you want to do the flowchart for? Any particular thought threads?
To understand the set of activities in a process.
Great. So I can look at doing the flowchart on an Excel sheet, on a Visio, on any of these tools like a eDraw or something.
So I'm not able. Sorry to interrupt you, sir. I'm not able to get what Anthony just said. Anthony, could you repeat the flow chart? What exactly you're talking about?
I mentioned that it's to understand the set of activities.
So
How the
question.
activities are.
So to a question, why do we build a flowchart? What, according to you, is the usage of a flowchart? Flowchart is nothing but a pictorial representation.
Step by step, what needed to be followed?
Correct. This is what it is supposed to do. It is supposed to give you a step-by-step pictorial instruction of how a particular process is being conducted, or you are being instructed to follow the same thing. That is pretty much why a flowchart is being made. When you use tools like the draw.io, etc., they will give you set of symbols that are mandatory components of a Fishbone. So whenever you start a flowchart, it will always start with a start button. It will end with an end button. You will have a rectangle which showcases. Let me look at a rectangle. Is this? Yes. This is the flow. This is the process box. A decision has to happen in a diamond. Let me see, where is the diamond shape? This is sort. Where is the diamond? Yes, here. Decisions are to be done in a diamond box. If you have yes, no kind of questions, all of that has to go into a diamond box, and things like that. So I will have someone, for people who have not done flowcharts earlier, I will have a small 30-minute session on Microsoft Visio done by one of our teammates to help you understand how do you make flowcharts. Flowcharts will be very necessary first step for any improvement project. So you must develop good amount of competence on flowcharts. I will have someone do a session for you on flowcharting. 30 minutes. People who want to attend can attend. People who don't want can continue. Control charts I'm not teaching you because I will work with you on control charts in the control phase of Six Sigma. Any other questions on the tools that we studied today, please shoot, else we'll move to our practice. All of you have your WhatsApp handy. Can I send you data over WhatsApp?
I'm not included in the WhatsApp, Anthony here.
Yeah, I'll send it to you on your email.
So I'm not added in the group.
So have you downloaded any data from AIGPL?
Not yet, sir.
Please download. All of you, please quickly download data from your Minitab, from your AIGPL, or I will send it to you on email or WhatsApp. If you can put your email ID on the on the chat, I can send it to you, Ankita.
Sure, sir.
Hi Pranay, Himlata this side. Actually, yesterday something happened with my device, so I couldn't get yesterday data. I couldn't provide you my email address for yesterday class session.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'll give it to you. Can one of you please download, and all of you, whoever has Minitab, please open your Minitab. People who don't have Minitab, maybe some other time I can help you. But right now we'll be using Minitab to to do some activities, do histograms and things like that on our Minitab.
Sir, I've logged in the tool and it says Six Sigma Black Belt data for project. Is it the one that I need to download?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Kanak, you already have so much data. Why do you want me to send you additional data? Oh God. Whoever has received the data, please open your Minitab and paste the data. Minitab.
Excuse me, sir. You mentioned about something about the Minitab installation help.
You don't have Minitab right now?
No.
Okay. I'll have Naveen call you immediately. Give me 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Neha, can you please have Naveen call up Anthony?
I tried to download a trial version, but I didn't get the email to my work mail. I don't know why.
So this is the file that I've sent across to all of you. This is data for collections. Click anywhere, copy the entire data set and paste it on your Minitab. Heading should come here in the gray area. Done, everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Histogram, for histogram, go to graph.
Just give me a moment, sir.
Sure.
My broadband is slow. Just a minute.
Let me know when you guys are ready with your open Minitabs.
Okay, I just want to share my screen only for a moment. Just wanted
Sure.
to showcase this.
Sure, please.
Is it the data that you're talking about? I have pasted it
Perfect.
like this. Okay.
So now go to click stats, click graph. Keep your screen shared.
Okay. So I'll go to graph.
Graph. You'll see histogram.
Yes.
Click that. Second one, width fit. Press OK. Double click on anything, let's say work or RPC, whatever data you want to analyze. Double click. Press OK. And your histogram is done. Double click on the image that you've gotten. This is the histogram that you have gotten for yourself. Click the click any of the towers that you have, any bar. If you see bar value 12, bin 4500, 550. So you have 12 data points in the range of 450 to 550. Next one, please. 25 is the bar value. So you have 25 data points in the range of 550 to 650. Everyone, is this simple so far? How to make a histogram?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
So the first point that you told us that this is the range, right? That you taught us earlier.
Yeah, so
So
that's the
500.
minimum value on the left side and the high and the max value on the right side.
Okay, got it.
Close this, go back to stats. First option, basic stats. Third on the right, graphical summary. The third one on the right side, stats, basic stats. Look at the right. Yes. This could be your first thing that you do for any data. Double click on work or double click on RPC, whatever you want. Okay. Like the term itself is saying, graphical summaries, it will graphically tell you your process behavior. So if you look at it, it is giving you the minimum, the maximum, the first quartile, median, third quartile. It is giving you mean, standard deviation, number of data points, etc. I have not spoken to you about normality yet. So once you go through that portion, the value on the extreme right hand top, you will see Anderson-Darling normality test, p value right at the top. Yes,
this one.
p value of less than 0.005, meaning data is non-normally distributed. We will understand why and how and what are the implications later. But graphical summary could be your preliminary tool to understand what's happening in your process.
So, sir,
But
while sorry.
no, I just had one question because we had discussed it earlier that if all the data points lies within that curve, it will be normally distributed, right? Normal distribution.
Correct. But because of some aberrations, your data is not normally distributed.
Okay. So, sir, let's say I was doing the histogram earlier. So instead of doing the histogram, and I want to understand in one go. So instead of doing that, can I do the graphical summary and just because it is also created?
Yeah, it is giving you histogram. Below that, it is giving you a box plot. Below that, it is giving you 95% CI. So it is giving you a lot of information. So this will always be preferred over a histogram. And whenever you start a project, this could be your first step when you have numerical data.
Okay, so it's a pre-DMAC.
Yes. Okay. Everyone, we together on the graphical summary?
Yes.
Shall I close it?
Yes. Press Alt.
Alt, okay.
Graph will be G, so press G. Alt G is, it will open up the graph menu. Now the second option that you have is the scatter. So S is, no, don't use the mouse.
Okay.
Press escape, do it right from start. Alt G S. S. Third option with regression.
Okay. So it's more about the Excel hotkey.
Correct. Press OK. Compare work and RPC. Press OK. Touch the red line, please. R square value is how much?
4.4.
The highest possible is 100. Our value is 4, which means very mild positive correlation. No?
Mm-hmm.
This is how you make a scatter plot.
So we are saying that the X has a very minimum impact on Y.
Almost negligible. If I were you, I would have neglected it. I would have concluded that near zero impact of X on Y. Be together, everyone, on the scatter plot.
Yes.
So once we do much in practice, personally, I'm sure कि अगर कुछ doubts होंगे, we can connect with you.
Absolutely. And don't worry, when we set out to do starting the project, we will do extensive, super extensive work on this. Graphical tools are my favorite. So you must have huge competence. You must do very, very well on Minitab and data visualization tools. So don't worry about that. This is my favorite playground. Now, please.
Pranay sir,
yeah.
Dheeraj this side. Okay, actually, I just wanted to check on one thing. I missed a couple of classes already. So just wanted to, because there was some power outage yesterday, informed Jyotirmay sir. So is there a way I can get the recording so that before the next session?
It's already there on the YouTube channel. I'll share you the link again.
Sure, Pranay sir. Thank you. Yeah.
Now, please open a new sheet, Control N.
Okay.
Put in the headings of man, machine, material, method. Machine, method, material. Mother Nature, measurement. Randomly add anything there. Just add alphabets, A, B, C, in the machine, do a X, Y, Z, anything. I just want to show you how to do a fishbone. Alt S, Q, C. Do it again. Cancel. Alt SQ. C is cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
C.
मैन पे तो नहीं क्लिक करना कहीं.
नहीं, ठीक है. Do it manually then. Does not matter. Where you have your cursor does not matter.
Okay.
Click stats. Stats.
Stats. और उसके बाद
Quality tools. The third on the right, cause and effect. Okay. Click on the blank space besides personnel. Yes. There. Double click there. Now double click on man. Click besides machine. Double click on machine. Click besides material. Put in the effect, put in the Y that you want to add. Let's say we were doing it for productivity improvement. Sorry. Title. Fishbone on productivity. Either you should say, even in the effect should mention low productivity or high productivity, fishbone on productivity, whatever. Low productivity, improvement hata do. Yeah. Press OK. Double click. The newer version of the Minitab makes slightly better looking fishbone, but it is still super shabby. I am still go ahead and advise you, please use presentation templates instead of using Minitab for fishbones. Fishbone Minitabs, Minitab's fishbones are pretty shabby.
Sure, sir.
Control N.
Okay, Control N.
नहीं करने दे रहा, बंद करते उसको पहले. Here, let's identify, let's say, department name and attrition count. Upper, one step up. Heading should be department name. C2 should be attrition count. Now randomly fill up data. I'll say operations, 1200 people are tried. Department name, say operations. Not there. Besides that.
Okay.
गड़बड़ कर दिया. No. Below the department name, mention operations.
Okay. Sorry.
$1200. कुछ भी एक random number डाल दो. Quality, HR, please keep adding.
So the data which has been entering, it's regarding the Pareto. It's required for Pareto.
Yeah, this is the data that has been created is for Pareto.
Worksheet. Okay, take it.
Now do the same thing. Stats, quality tools.
Pareto.
Correct. First, it is saying attribute data. So department name, frequencies, attrition count. Press OK. Sampler. Done. So between operations quality and WFM, you have 66% of your attrition. Add HR and say 77.7, etc. Everyone, I have recorded this video, so I will share this video after some editing, so that you can go back to the zone of looking at how to do these, how to do these test tools on Minitab. You can do it on your data and practice.
Sure, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. So catch you guys next Saturday. And let's start getting into define and the other phases of Six Sigma.
Great. Excuse me, sir. Can you ask Navin to call me to install the Minitab?
Yeah.
Just remind him. Yeah.
After the session, he'll call you. Yeah. So as soon as we end the session, he'll call you and help you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.